Welcome to Sipping Reality X with Jill and
Megan.
We've been away for a week.
We have.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
We have a big topic today.
Yeah, it's a really pressing one for us.
Yeah, I feel a little fired up about it.
Yeah.
So we have, in the midst of what's going on in our lives, we have had some concern as to this podcast.
Yes, we have.
And we want to talk about that because we knew doing this podcast that there would be judgment and concern.
Especially going through divorce.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why we did it, actually.
That is, I think, the biggest reason why we went forward.
And
Yeah.
not to be rebellious, but because we want to bring the judgment and shame off of the fact that we are human beings with sex drives. Again, I love this point. It is part of the species survival to have sex, which is why we desire, our bodies were made to desire it
And
enjoy it.
and probably the reason why when women get older, they get a little more hornier because their biological clock is ticking.
They're at the end of when their eggs are going to be run out.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's very, very biological, too.
It does make sense. And when men are younger, their body parts tend to work better and quicker so that they can get a lot more out more. So it makes sense that they would be
Millions and millions of sperm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mother Nature wants to make sure
one man
that
could
sperm
have
gets in the right
thousands of children.
place. Oh, goodness.
I mean,
we don't need one man to
I'm just
survive
saying.
the species. 'Cause
No.
that would be scary. But
exactly.
But the potential
no, but it's
is
possible.
there.
Yeah.
The potential.
Women only have a certain amount of eggs for their whole life, so
So listen to the end here and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because if you are enjoying our content, we need you and we
Yes.
need your support and we appreciate you. So thank you.
yes, please share.
Yeah, so I'm not opposed to the concern that people have in regards to me and Megan sharing so openly. I am just not in agreement with the fact that we shouldn't share so openly.
No, and in fact, the people that are showing concern and the concern that is coming out of it is, like you said, the reason why we started this, because us and many people that we have met, a lot of people that we have met are needing to hear that this is okay. I'm coming out of a marriage where this was actually used against me to say that something was wrong with me. I come from years and years and years of feeling so much shame. And the fact that my desires do not impact me as a mom, they don't impact the responsibilities that I take care of in my life, that I don't harm anyone, and that I don't harm myself, that actually makes it nobody's fucking business what I do.
Well, we're making it everybody's business because we're talking about it, but we're talking about it to help everybody else come to a healthier place as we're coming to a healthy place with our own desires and sexuality.
Yes, and what I mean by it's nobody's fucking business is that no adult should be able or could be able to turn around and say that my sexual appetite or behavior is inappropriate, or even talking about it openly. If you don't want to listen, don't come on my podcast.
Yeah, don't click on it.
This is also an 18 plus age verified podcast with
Correct.
explicit content. It is not for children.
Correct.
And every child should have parental, controls on their phone.
And do you know how much explicit things are on social media today and everywhere on billboards
Hordes
and things?
and hordes and
on the
hordes.
back of cars?
Yep.
There's
trucks that have
explicit-
balls
there's-
hanging from the back of their truck.
Oh, and two stick figures humping each other on the back of their trucks.
Yep.
That my kids are in the car and we're following that
And they
truck.
can read.
And my kids can see that.
Right.
My 12-year-old knows exactly what that sticker is saying. Shirts. My boy's father has a shirt that he used to wear all the time. Don't know if he still wears it because I don't see him. But it said, F your feelings. And it had a stick figure humping the F on the shirt. And he wore that in my home around my children all of the time. This is not for children. And we have it labeled and marked and set as not for children. And therefore, it has nothing to do with us as mothers. And actually, I don't have sex with anybody in the same home as my children, around my children, when my children are anywhere close. I actually don't have that much sex at all. It's kind of sad. I really need some.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it's like we have a sex podcast. It doesn't mean I'm just fucking people.
Right.
I actually am constantly telling men I don't have casual sex.
But if you did, it would be the fuck okay.
Well, exactly. But it's just hilarious because it's like I'm not even getting any.
No, I know, right?
I'm like, oh, I could really use some.
But we're speaking to an audience of people that click on to our podcast knowing that it is an explicative podcast. Don't listen to it if you don't want to hear our exploitations. Like, don't, and it's not for children.
Exactly.
Like, period. And therefore, marketed as such is not inappropriate to have. There is hordes and hordes and hordes of people with sex podcasts. There are parents. I know there's channels where women literally record when their children are there and you can hear them saying "Mom" in the background.
Right? Most all married couples are having sex in their bedroom, in their bed, with their kids sleeping in the room right next door that walk in on them or could hear them or could just hear the banging, and they get old enough that they know, oh God, I'm listening to my parents have sex. That's more inappropriate than what we are doing on this podcast by speaking about our sexual escapades, our sexcapades openly and talking about kinks and fetishes. We also talk about safety and consent and
boundaries,
healing and having good healing prior to engaging. And so we're here to share about having healthy sex lives.
Yes.
About treating yourself well, caring for yourself within that, and stripping the shame and guilt away. Yeah. Because you shouldn't be shameful or guilty of having a sexual desire if you are a human being, an adult human being, and you're doing it safely and consensually. Now, if you're not, now all of a sudden I have a problem with what you're doing.
Right.
But if you are, then have at it and come be a guest, and maybe we'll talk about your kink and share it with the world.
Do you know how many shorts I've seen just in the last week of, it says when you forget that you have children, and it's a married couple about to fuck and they're like stripping each other's clothes off and they're like humping each other and kissing, and then their kids walk in,
right? And
then they're like acting like they're between their husband's legs, and all of a sudden they're acting like they're looking for a remote under the couch. Like,
well, I think we should file a 51A on them or request a restraining order at court to make sure that they can't be near their kids anymore.
Yeah, that's abusive.
That's a lot of people that shouldn't be around their children.
Yes.
I mean, if you have a child already and then you have another child, you probably had sex while your child was in the house. Is that inappropriate?
No.
What if my children were downstairs right now while I was recording this, but they couldn't hear me? I set it up. I made sure I was safe. I made sure the door was closed. There was sound protection. And I filmed this podcast right when they're in the house. Would there be anything wrong with that if they could not hear me?
And we knew that.
I dare say most people would say that that was wrong and I shouldn't do that, but nobody would say that it's wrong for two consenting adults, married adults, to have sex in their home while their children are in the home.
Yep, sneak away into their bedroom, lock the door, or the bathroom, lock the door.
Garage.
Or forget to lock the fucking door.
The
kids fucking walk in. Like, how many, you know how many countless stories I've heard of fucking kids walking in on their
sex
parents,
toys, finding their parents' sex toys,
their
and
vibrators.
Things. Like, my kids have never done any of that. I've never had that happen in my home.
My oldest has found my sex toys in my closet. But I mean, like, what we live in the same house. Like, I'm a fucking adult. Like, and also I can explain that stuff to my son in an age appropriate way, and there doesn't need to be any shame around it.
Yeah.
Why is there shame around this?
I don't know, because
I'm not doing it in front of my son just because he freaking comes across my toys in my closet that he shouldn't have been in to begin with, actually.
Well, this is exactly why we're doing it, because there shouldn't be shame around this, which is why we're talking so openly. And this is the positive result that we have seen out in the world of us doing this podcast, is that we are constantly talking to people about our podcast and about sexual things in a very comfortable, open way, and countless people are just able to open up to us and talk about their kinks and fetishes, and then say, wow, I've never met anyone that has allowed me to be so open and share about these things. And it's not sexual. There's no sexual tension within the conversation.
Right.
There's nothing weird or icky about it.
This has happened countless times.
Yes, these people are just so grateful
and
to
you can
meet
see this
somebody.
relief
Yes.
in their face. It actually encourages me that we're doing the right thing, because
Yes.
I was once in a place where I felt so much shame, and to offer someone a space to talk about it openly and not feel that shame and feel heard and seen and not ashamed.
Yes.
There's a relief from that you feel, like physically feel from this person,
Yes.
that they have a space to talk about it.
Yes, we continue to experience that online daily almost, but in person when we do have those conversations, or me and Megan are together and just talking openly, and the people around us are just like, yeah, you see it, the relief.
Yeah.
They just like all of a sudden, like their shoulders relax and they start talking and like be open, and geez, I've never had conversations with a stranger about these things, and they get surprised by themselves.
Right.
But then they're grateful and they say thank you. Like, wow, I'm so glad I met you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were shameful of these things, and partners have made them feel shameful, and their families have been made them feel shameful, and the world, how it's set up, it's like making somebody feel shameful for liking chocolate because I don't like chocolate, and it's milk chocolate and it's not good for you or something, and I'm gonna make you feel ashamed of it because I don't like it.
Right. And it's not pure chocolate.
Yeah, or like I like dark chocolate and you like milk chocolate, and I'm going to make you feel guilty because I think dark chocolate's healthier. And it's like, okay, I have vanilla sex and you like to get tied up, and getting tied up isn't hurting anyone, but oh gosh, I'm going to make you feel shameful about that. Like, why?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, I like bondage. I'm totally okay with that. And if you're not, like Megan said, and we know that most of our listeners are completely okay with that.
Right.
But there's some people who personally know us that it's shocking to them that we're out there sharing so openly. And I completely understand why. But again, that's exactly why we started this, because we know that there's people out there who are very uncomfortable with their sexuality. So we're just going to keep on talking, and we are going to keep doing this podcast. You might, if you listen to our other channels, we now have a new playlist that we're going to be building upon on YouTube, specifically just on YouTube. And it's going to have very different content than what you're going to hear on Sipping Reality X.
I have a point.
If you do listen to the other channels, just know that this channel has nothing to do with what we're talking about on those other channels.
Yeah, it's completely separate. I had a thought, especially when it comes to shame around talking about our sexual experiences and thoughts publicly, is the finger pointing from abusers.
Oh, yes.
And it's so interesting to me, and it's also very disgusting. But the interesting thing to me is that someone could point the finger at someone's behavior that's completely not inappropriate. It's not hurting anybody. It's not putting any children at risk. It's not exposing any children. It's not harming anyone. It's not harming themselves. Take completely adult consensual behavior, point a finger and say, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're talking about. Look at this. It's so wrong. And to shift everybody's focus on the person that is literally not doing anything that is illegal or inappropriate as an adult, and shift this focus and blame away from them and their behavior.
Yes.
And
it's a major tactic of abusers, and that's why a big reason why there's so much shame and guilt around desires and things, because there's so many abusers out there using things like this to point the finger and to control that you're always on the defense.
Yep.
Specifically, narcissistic abusers are so skilled at keeping you so far on the defense that nothing ever gets addressed about them.
Yes.
And you're just constantly digging out of a hole of defense when you're actually doing nothing wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
You're an imperfect
Literally.
human being that makes some mistakes in life, but you're a decent person, and you can't come out of the hole of defense.
And when you start looking at what they're like, all the accusations, you're like, and your point is, and your point is.
Well-
we also, I don't know, we also talk about like the development psychologically of like, you know, from a child to now, like things that come up anyway. So it's not in a non, it's,
on our other podcast,
Yeah.
our regular one, we've talked about how we speak to our children about sex.
Yep.
And about puberty and coming to age and all of that, and we've talked about
our
it.
kids are being majorly exposed to sexual things
Yes.
and violent things, and we have to have
and even that podcast is labeled as explicit.
Yep.
Even though we don't typically talk
All
about
of our
explicit,
podcasts are,
all of
actually.
all of our content,
All of
even
our-
my ratings that I read on YouTube that are completely rated G are still put as explicit so that none of our content. I told my children that our regular podcast that isn't X-rated, I said that is for adults and you can't listen to it. So I told them that about the regular one.
Right.
And they don't even know about this one unless somebody else decided to tell them, and that would be
On the parent.
inappropriate.
Absolutely
That would actually be,
inappropriate.
if my children know that I have an X-rated podcast, I did not tell them. I did not give them that information.
Same.
And if they know about it, that means that somebody else told them, and that's actually really wrong.
Yep.
And gross.
Yep. It's disgusting,
Yes.
actually. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, this is why we're doing this episode today, because we felt almost like something was telling us to shut up. And we're like, that's the reason why we need to keep talking. That's
Yes.
the reason why we need to be louder, that we need to be more honest and raw and not shut our mouths, because we have been forced and abused to keep our mouths shut our whole entire lives. And we're not going to be bullied into doing that
Nope.
anymore.
And we are good people, and we are hurting no one, and we aren't harming any children. We aren't involving any children.
Yep.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with anything that we do. And so we have no problem sharing it with all of you.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing wrong with it.
Nope. On the hordes and hordes of countless explicit sex podcasts that are out there, we are not going to take responsibility for being the only one that is inappropriate because we have
shouldn't
children.
Yes, correct.
I mean, that's just insane.
But we know that most of you are in agreement with us that actually are our listeners and are listening. We just wanted to really share that with you guys, because not only are we facing this, but we also know that it's a big reason why a lot of you are shameful about your sexual desires, because of the very same thing. Abusers using it to point the finger at you, or just anyone
Society that makes us
society
think that
wanting
we're
to
wrong.
point the finger,
Yeah.
or making it seem wrong to have sexual desires that we can't stop having because we're literally human. It's like trying to tell somebody that they need to not feel hungry.
Exactly.
Like, don't feel hungry. It's not good to feel hungry.
And this is the very reason we started this podcast.
I
So we are
am
not shutting
so
up.
horny because I am not having sex. I have been so sexless.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Well, it went along with what I was saying. I was making a point that there's nothing wrong with feeling hungry, and there's nothing wrong with the fact that I'm not having sex and I'm gosh darn horny.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm fucking horny too. So there we are.
She's having sex and she's horny.
Well, not that much.
And it's never enough.
No, that's true. That's true.
You all know Megan well enough by now. It's just not enough.
Oh, God.
But we really care. We really care about all of you who are listening. We care about how you feel about your own sexual desires and how you present yourself with them. And you don't need to come on a podcast and tell everyone your sexual desires unless you want to be a guest and help us take shame away from your specific kink or fetish. We'd love to have you on.
Absolutely.
But we're out here saying it for you. So we're taking the hits.
We are taking the hits.
Yep.
And we will continue to.
We're going to take more hits.
We
This
knew
is just the beginning.
We knew this was going to happen.
We did. And
did.
and we're okay with it. And we're not mad or upset with anybody who is concerned either.
Nope.
Because we understand that that's how society trains us to be. And so
It's the default.
it is. So we know that people are concerned, and we appreciate that you love us and that you're concerned, but we're okay, and we're going to keep on talking, and I'm apparently going to keep on being horny because
You're not having sex. Oh,
no,
I'm sorry.
I'm not getting cuddled, I'm not having sex,
Oh,
and I'm just not doing casual. It's just not
No,
going to
no,
happen.
thank you.
I can't.
I
I
can't.
just can't
Nope.
do it,
No,
man.
thanks. Nope.
I mean, if it's okay
It's never
for you,
worth it.
that's okay, but it's just
no, not judgment for anybody else.
No, it's just not as good.
No, nope, no,
You
it's
need
not.
chemistry, you need connection, and the more you're with somebody, the better it gets.
Yeah, yep.
And
There's
I just
nothing like it.
That's what I'm craving.
Yeah, I'd rather go without.
I'd rather go without than just some casual encounter.
Blech.
But just for us. I mean, we get that some people enjoy that. Some people have that kink. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, they
where
like to fuck
a
strangers.
stranger is
Yeah.
like there's something to that for them, and so
No yucking on anybody's yum.
yes, we're not doing that. We're just sharing what our yum is. My mind.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
mind,
You're
my
gonna be
body.
okay.
Oh,
You're gonna be okay.
I am. I will have sex again. It will happen. I hope.
I'm sure you will.
I hope so.
One day.
I don't one day. I don't know how hopeful I am right now. Wow. Oh, get that negativity out of me.
out of there.
Yeah, just pop my own face.
Do you want me to slap you?
Actually, I slapped. I didn't pop it. A pop doesn't do that.
Yeah.
That was a slap, but I do that sometimes when I just need to like shake myself. I'm like, boom.
Yeah. We do that to each other. We do that.
Yeah, we've had our moments. We're like, okay, I think we just need to slap
She's
each
gotta
other.
like literally take her glasses off and get ready for me.
I do, because she's not a very good slapper.
No.
So I need to prepare myself and really get my face ready so that she can slap it well.
And not hit her glasses into her nose.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes her more cautious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say again that please, if you're loving our content, which again, so many of you tell us that you're loving our content, way more people than we have subscribed are telling us that they're avid listeners, that they're loving our content, but aren't subscribing. So please do. Even if you don't need to subscribe to know you're going to come on and listen, it helps us. So
Yes.
please help us.
Help the algorithm.
Help the algorithm. No, help Jill and Megan.
Ow, my nipple hurts.
Oh, from your
Yeah.
nipple piercing.
Yeah.
Help Jill and
Help
Megan.
Jill and Megan.
Help
and my
us.
right nipple.
Help.
Help me.
And I can't wait to have wonderful stories that I'm having sex again.
Oh.
Someday soon.
Yes, you will. I have very much faith in that. All right. We love you all. Thank you for listening.
Until next time.